So nonetheless, of course, when we talk about the ground rules, they're there for helping you guys. They're there for making the class much easier and much more funner to understand. The ground rules are very simple. The things that I'm going to talk to you guys about is I'm going to look about what are the ground rules exactly. And the reason for the ground rules is because I want you to succeed. Yes, it may be a surprise for you guys. I do want you guys to do really well. And the reason why I want you to do well, because if you do well, I do well. Okay? Makes sense? Absolutely. It's like in the business world, okay? When a manager does really well, it's really because of their subordinates, and the subordinates are, really doing a good job. But I have to challenge you guys, and I have to make sure that you understand the concept. So to guide you guys throughout the semester, I want you to make sure you understand my teaching philosophies, and also understand what I expect from you. But at the same time, what do you expect from me? Okay. It's a two-way mirror, and I definitely want to see you guys do your best, but also, you should have some expectation from me as well. Okay. Myself, I'm not just your teacher. I'm not just somebody who went to, Queens, taught for 8 years, went and did a double major in my bachelor's for, management science and marketing. I also went to Seneca as well. All right. I was a student in Seneca at one point, like you guys. And, I really enjoyed my time there. And I really enjoyed my instructors, my professors, people who actually brought me up. And definitely, a lot of my students, you guys are in, I believe, global business or hospitality. Which department are you guys in?
Global business management, sir.
Fantastic, wonderful, thank you. I appreciate that, and definitely, before there was global business management, I was in the international business, global. Thank you. And it was interesting. It was very fun, and I only look back at it. I mean, it was like over like 25 years ago, but it was fun. It was fun. It was exciting, and I enjoyed it. Okay. Nonetheless, of course, I also want you to, be heard and be understood, be able to understand a lot of things in the class, including my teaching philosophies, my teaching practices, and at the end of the day, make the most of the class. Okay, it's a very interesting class. It's a new concept I'm going to teach you guys. However, when you look at the concept, it's one of a kind, and it's a concept that, when you think about it, it's really something that, you put a lot of effort into it. You put a lot of, ideas on it, and definitely, you will be able to understand what this may mean and what this could do for your future. Okay. So, coming in, one of the things that I do want to discuss is what do I expect from you guys, and expectation is very simple for me. I do want you to be punctual on time. Now, the whole class is going to be online between 3:20 till six something. But in all honesty, I don't use the whole time, and in most cases, most of the time you guys should be out of here before 6 o'clock. So that's a good thing. But I do want you to be on time, okay? The class has like 30 plus students, and I want you guys to make the most out of it, be able to contribute to the class discussion, be able to take notes. I mean, I don't see you guys. But try to take notes on your laptop or even on a notepad. It will help you, trust me. And it doesn't just help you as a student, it also helps you, as in the future with your career. It does make things a little bit easier for you. Also, be able to know where to find information and references. So make sure that, if you go on Blackboard, there's a lot of information I give, and I'm trying to organize it a little bit more now, to make it much easier, much more thorough, and much more hands-on for you guys. Okay. So definitely it will be helpful, and I'm looking forward to sharing a lot of this information with you. Other than that, what do you expect from me? Well, there's two problems when you have expectations from me. Number one, I get them really late. I get them on surveys, and sometimes I get the best surveys. Sometimes I get the worst surveys. I'm not sure, but when we look at surveys, I definitely want to hear from you guys and see what I can do better. But in most cases, I want you guys to get a great class, okay, a great audience, and I want you guys to really do well. Um, Wherever it's needed. And eventually, when I do well, you guys do well too. So I'm here to give you a very interactive class, a very interesting class, a class that I will include a lot of, multimedia and materials and, something that you can look forward to. Any questions? I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Okay. Queries will be answered promptly within the given time. Instruction and guidance will also be answered when given. And I will do my best to hopefully highlight it. Okay. Other than that, I will be a scheduled class. So please make sure that the class, you know the time when we start, when we end, and eventually, how the class will be run for the next 14 weeks. And most importantly, have yourself a fantastic semester, okay? Make sure that you enjoy the class and that you make the most of it. Now, question now is how will the class be held? Very simple. The class is mostly held online, okay? It is scheduled online between the hours of 3:20 to 6:20. But as I mentioned, guys, my system is very thorough, especially when you go into the late half of our class. There's going to be a lot of assignments. There's going to be a lot of deliverables. There's going to be some even group work, okay? So definitely I will be able to help you guys, but I want to make sure that you guys will know exactly where to find the information, how to find the information, and be on top of your game. Okay, so please make sure you know exactly what to do and how to do it, and hopefully we can do it together. Okay. It is a scheduled time, as I mentioned. It is 3:20 to 6:20 online on Zoom. I gave you my credentials. I gave you the Zoom access. All you have to do is join us, click on it, you're done. Okay. What a wonderful world we live in. Office hours will also be available. I'll leave some office hours both in our campus and off. So please let me know how I can help you guys. Email. Will also be helped out as well. Email, you can also email me whenever you need. We can get in contact by private message on Blackboard, or if you would like to set up a virtual remote meet, we can do that as well. Okay, so all these are available for you. Please let me know how I can assist, and I will be more than happy to help you guys. Other than that, emails. When we look at emails, you can email me anytime when we start to look at the emails. You can send me an email when you need. When it comes out to feedback, I appreciate hearing from you guys, what you feel about the subject, how you feel about the subject, what I can do to assist you guys on the subject. And please make sure that I can help you guys where it's needed. Definitely, it's very important that I hear from you guys. It's very important that you have a voice, and I'm here to hear what I can help you guys and see what I can do for your careers. But definitely, if you need to talk to anybody about, anything that's related or anything that you would like, definitely send me an email and I'll be more than happy to help. Okay. I'll try to help as much as I can. I may not have always the answers, but I may have something that we can go about. If you want to talk about the subject, even better. Talk about it. Let's discuss it. I'm a specialist in this field, and I'm really ready to help you guys wherever it's needed. If you want to talk about your career, by all means. If you want to talk about anything that's happening in the world, even better. Okay, so you can always email me, but please remember, guys, some emails may not be good. I call them they're not cool emails. And the not cool emails are emails that you may have to rethink twice before you send it to me, unfortunately. What are the not cool emails? Very simple. As I mentioned to you, being on time, taking notes, looking at references is important. But if we speak about it in class, and you're still sending a message about the same subject, my question will be why? And the answer might be, well, did you pay attention? Were you simply logging on and just joining us for no apparent reason? Were you actually in class? Okay, all these questions will come back. And, it might mean you didn't pay attention, and that is not a good email to start off with. If you're writing an excuse to me on why you didn't finish the assignment or deliverable, another big problem. No assignments or any attachments should be sent by email. It should only be sent on um, um, BlackBerry. Sorry, BlackBerry. Where am I? 2005. Blackboard. It should only be sent by Blackboard because it's very important that there's a stamp on it. Okay. Unfortunately, on email, it's sort of it might go into my junk, it might go into spam. It's not stamped, it's not good, and you may not get full marks. Okay, if I'm lucky to find it. So please make sure to only send it by email. Okay, students may even get a zero on it, so that's even worse. Okay, so please make sure that you put it all together. By all means, wasting time and send me an email is not good. A lot of times, if you waste my time, I'll waste your time. And by wasting your time, seeing that you're a student, I can waste as much as I can, and I have to convert your unlimited time. How do I convert it? Marks. Okay. So a lot of times, I just will take some marks and chop it off. Okay. So that's not good, and definitely, I do not want to waste anybody's mark as well. But in the end of the day, not being able to complete what was given and send me an email about it, not good, not good. Please do not do it. Okay. Other than that, um, the results of what happens when you send me a not good email is very simple. I may ignore it. Don't feel bad. Okay. I'm not being a meanie McMean here. But the reason why I may not respond back to you is I'm simply busy. Okay. I mentioned to you guys, I teach, I've been teaching for 8 years. I just didn't tell you where. Okay. I teach at Seneca. I teach at Durham College in Oshawa. I teach at Centennial, okay, your nemesis college, and I also teach at York, okay. So I teach a lot of places, and when you put all my students together, you know how many students they have every semester, like 500 students, okay. It's a headache, but I love it. And definitely, it's really hard to get to every student and every problem. And sometimes students send me like 5 pages worth of email, even worse. Okay, so that's a little bit hard to follow. So I ask you very nicely that, if you send me an email, please think before you send it. Sometimes I may have to resend it to you because maybe it's not appropriate or not professional. Marks may be deducted as a result of it because I find out more than I can handle. Sometimes the students may be placed at risk, meaning that their emails cause them to be placed in probation. As I mentioned, if there's an ongoing problem where a student cannot deliver an issue, I may have to contact administration and say, listen, the student is not up to par. Okay. He or she needs a little more advice about how to manage your time. Or maybe, there's a problem with plagiarism, or maybe there's a problem with something else and they need more instructions or they need to do something. But the last thing I want you guys to do and get from a really bad email is to retake the class. And I don't think it's fair. Okay. The class goes for 4 months. It's 14 weeks together. Okay. And the last thing I want you guys to do is like, let's be honest, like take the class for like 8 months. That's ludicrous. Okay. You don't want to take it. I don't want to see you guys here again. So definitely, guys, try to minimize any issues and try to be on your best behavior. Other than that, when we start to talk a little bit about the different facets of the area of our class, a lot of times we're going to be looking at the many different areas of global supply chains and global sustainability. So I'm going to give you a lot of assignments, and there's no test. I do write tests here, but now we took out the test. So you must be prepared for all assignments, and you must be well understood on where the deliverable will be. If you're not prepared for any deliverables, be it assignments, tests, or whatever, you may have to forfeit your marks, meaning you lose marks. Okay. I will give you time to complete the assignments. And that's why I told you that if the class is going to go for 3 hours, I normally would only need about a couple of hours, maybe four, maybe a good 2 hours of incoming, outgoing lecture, and then you guys are free. Okay, so that's a good time to do your work. All right, sending me things that are late, you may get marks off, and it will be hard. Test will be taken only in class, but again, the whole assessments, it's all going to be done online, so there's no worry about it. Other than that, what else can I be able to tell you here? Oh yeah, beyond marking, I'm one of the few instructors that I'm willing to give you the 3-day grace rule. Now, a 3-day grace rule means that I allow students um, to submit an assignment to me or hand them in late. However, I will ask you very nicely that if you submit it, don't send me an email about it. I will still give you an open option to submit it 3 days late. But if it's submitted later than 3 days, it may be a zero. Okay. So marks will be deducted. It can be deducted between 5 to 20% per day, depending on the outcome and situation. However, when you look at your assignment, I do not mark the assignment on the day of or the due date. I mark it after. Okay, so a lot of times I will mark it 3 days after. So if we have something due on, say, the Tuesday, I'll give you guys until Tuesday night to complete it. And then what happens is that the deliverable you guys will be giving to me. The deliverable, you can submit it until Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. And then on Friday or Saturday morning, I start going and marking them for you. And that's the whole idea behind it. Other than that, kindly guys, in the kindness of kind, try not to interrupt the class. Okay. When you interrupt the class, it is really, really hard. And I mean, we're online, so interrupting class is like between by accident putting on your microphone when it's not allowed or interrupting it or sabotaging it on purpose. Okay. I did teach a online class where somebody did sabotage it with music. One of the music at first, but it cut into our hours. And then I had to remove the student. And the student felt, obligated to complain about it, but didn't realize that we have witnesses and video about it. So definitely, please do not make noise or um, you know jump in the middle of class and interrupt it. Talk in the middle of the lecture, never good. And to your next door neighbor, I don't think you have any, but try to keep the noise at a minimal. Try to be respectful. We're in a Zoom conference, so be respectful to the Zoom, to me, to students, to everybody, and you will have yourself a good time. Moral of the story about this whole thing that we talked about, you definitely need to complete the work when given. I'm not here to be a beatbox on what happened and when it happened. I'm here to see results. And you need to do your best in the class, have an eye for the prize, both in work and in school and in real life. And again, if you did not understand any of what we talked about today, I'm going to send you this PowerPoint by email and tell you that, listen, this is a warning sign, and maybe you need to up your game a little bit for me. But other than that, how can I succeed in this class? Very simple, guys. I'll be frank with you. If you show up to class, participate, be attending in the class, and enjoy the class first and foremost, that's all you need to do. Okay. Honestly, there's a lot of lecture. On the assignments, when you complete your assignments, there's a lot of things that I give you, hints, keywords, riddles in the class, and I want to see them on paper. Okay. So a lot of times when students get a 70 and they're like, why do I get 70? There's another riddle. Maybe you didn't show up to the class. And because you didn't show up, that really affected your mark. Okay, so it affected your mark because the way I mark things is very simple. I give you a 1, 2, 3 punch. Okay. If you wrote something and it could be nonsense, I'll give you a 1 out of 3. Okay. 1 out of 3 means it's like, if it's a full mark, it's like 1 mark out of 3, which is like 33%. I mean, it's not a good mark, but if somebody never even showed up to the class since, January, and we have an assignment due in April, it's a little bit hard to take in, but you know what? It's not too bad. But if you do it and you do it based on our our lecture notes, it might be good, but nothing applied. But if you really apply it, you may get a free air free. Okay. Free air free is 100%. But there's marks in between. So you may get like 2.6, 2.1, 2.2, 1.2, 1.7. It could be all over the place. Okay. But please take notes. And that's why it's important to take notes because, again, we're on Zoom. I give you a lot of hints left, right, and center. Your goal is to do a good job on it. Try not to cheat or copy the work. Again, guys, there's no test in this class. It's all done on assignments. So the first assignment is probably a drawing assignment. So there's really no way that you can cheat. But my goal for you guys is that I want you to do really well on it. But don't use AI. Don't use ChatGPT. These things do not give you anything out of this class. If you challenge yourself, if you work hard, you'll see results and you'll really enjoy it. Okay. Try to finish all deliverables on time, complete it, know what is due, join a class, and you will do well. Other than that, um, cheating plagiarism. Please remember, guys, according to Seneca Handbook, cheating and plagiarism is not tolerated. So please do not do it. Not cool, not nice, and definitely not something you would want. Cheating plagiarism doesn't get you anywhere. It just gets you into a hot potato with the admin. But when you look at cheating plagiarism, there's a lot of variables that go in when we look at cheating and plagiarism, and definitely um, you know we're in the age of AI, and if somebody writes something about AI doesn't make any sense, then it becomes a problem, okay? Or if I don't understand it, or AI wrote you something really nice, but you're missing things verbally from our class. That's why it's very important to join the class, okay? So again, a lot of times with plagiarism, if you email me about it, you're not helping your cause, unfortunately. I know this may sound bad, but it doesn't help you. Okay, it only just rectifies that you want your mark to be not your mark per se, you want your assignment to be red flagged by me, and you want to me to double check it again and again and again so that you can be assured that there's no cheating, even though the system caught something about cheating. Okay. So you are required to show integrity. And again, email me is not smart. I kind of likened it to students who have seen a border police officer. And when the border police officer ask the students, "Hey, do you have any guns and drugs?" And they were like, "No guns, but came back home from a wedding. I brought some hashish, and I heard that it's legal in Canada, so I'm just bringing a little bit. Is that okay?" No, it's not okay. It's illegal. Okay, and definitely you may be arrested for it. Okay, so I don't want you guys to be arrested. I want you guys to be in my class for Pete's sakes. So definitely, guys, show your integrity, show your hard work, and I guarantee you will see results. Okay. I'm gonna leave the board for you guys right now. Do you guys have any questions for me? Anything that I can add to the lecture?
Sir, I have one question.
Go ahead.
Sir, will the tests be held online?
There's no test. I wrote tests, but we took tests out of the class. It's all assignments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, sorry. Let me go back. Let me go back. Sorry. Mm. I'm in the wrong class. All right. I do apologize. I said test before. Okay. Let me just go back on this. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Test. There is two tests that you will take. One is in midterm. Okay, the middle of the term. The other one is in the final. So thank you for bringing it in. Um, it is going to be online, and you will get class time to complete it. Now, I we did fix it from last semester. Last semester it was true and false, multiple choice. And that was a little bit of a tidbit. Today we do short answers. So basically I give you a question and you fill it in, and it's kind of like treated as an assignment. So that's why I kind of like felt it was an assignment, but it's not. It is actually a test. Okay. So you have two tests in this class. You have, I believe, a couple of individual assignments, group assignment, and then you're done. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for highlighting it. I will give you a breakdown next week. But for now, it is definitely it is going to be online, like always, and you can take it anywhere. Okay. Doesn't matter when, but you only have 3 hours to take it. So it opens at 3 o'clock and it closes at around 6:20 on testing. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, no. Woo! All right. One wonderful class. All right. So what we'll do right now is I'm going into a switch mode. I'm gonna go and offer you guys a once in a lifetime opportunity to get this, a break. Take a break. The time is just past uh 4:05. Take a break for 10 minutes and then come back at 4:15, and we will talk about the introduction to GSL 200. Sounds good? Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So take a break. Be back. Don't leave the Zoom class. Please be back at 4:15. We will restart. Enjoy your break. See you soon. Don't leave Zoom class, please. All right. Have yourself a good one, and we will be back. Thank you. Enjoy your break. All right. That you guys are having yourself a good one, and eventually you guys are enjoying whatever you may be doing. Um, Before we start, I'm going to show you a quick overview of a video. I'm just going to set it up. It's a one-off here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to find the video and then put it for you guys. And I'm just going to see where I put it here. Um, was it? Okay, one second. Worldview. I keep it. Mythology. This one? No, it's not that one. Hmm. All right. If I find it, by all means, but for now, I'm going to just restart what we talked about. So, welcome everybody to our first class, the introduction class. What I'm going to talk to you guys mostly about is the course outline, the weekly schedule. I'm going to look at the expectations and assessments that we'll be doing, as well as the prescribed readings that we're going to be having, and lastly, just to get to know one another, the introduction. So beyond that, we're just gonna skip over to that video, but unfortunately, I'm going to show you this hopefully later on. But that, second, seeing that, let me just see here. What is the worldview? Let me just see if that's the one. What is the worldview? I think I got it. One second. Here we go. Okay, I got it. All right, so I got what I'm looking for. Here's the video I want to show you just to introduce you guys what we're going to be talking about. So number one, I have the video. Number two, I have not what is the worldview? What is the worldview? One second. All right, I can't seem to find it. It's not the same one. But what I'm gonna hopefully do is I'll share with you guys later on, and eventually we'll give you guys a chance to see it. All right. In any case, what we're going to be asking about the video is basically what is a worldview? Okay. So a worldview is a way we observe and interpret reality. Okay, a lot of times we see something and we try to figure out why it's happening or what we're doing with it. So it's a way to understand the world around us. Okay, and it can also enhance or limit the ability to observe and interpret reality. So a lot of times the way we see reality is what we did in the past, what's mistakes or opportunities that we saw in the past, and knowledge that we have been seen to, as well as a present experience that we're currently in and situations that are good or bad. And what it gives us is our current present worldview. So, of course, when you're looking at a company and that company is trying to achieve another important aspect in their success of their company, what they've done in the past and the knowledge that it brought up, coupled with what they're currently in and the current problems that they're dealing with or opportunities, is the current worldview that they're in. So a lot of times the way that we assume the worldview is by doing something called a soft system methodology. SSM. This is the whole class, what it's all about. Soft system methodology. Soft refers to people, people that we understand, the way that we relate to each other and the way that we interact with one another is a soft system methodology. And the system is an application of different theories and relationships of how people, objects, and procedures and resources are being kept. Okay. The methodology is now, when we look at the soft system methodology, is how people are organized in a way of thinking to understand what is an unknown variable, what could happen, and the complex problems and getting to a yes. Okay. So the idea here is that in a company, companies make choices. Okay. And when they make choices, you cannot just, close your eyes and ears and just pick something. You have to be very, very reliant on it. So a lot of times when we're organized in a way of thinking to understand those unknown variables or those problems and how to deal with them, we have to figure out the procedures to figure out exactly how we come to a situation or an outcome. So, under the soft system methodology, what it tells us to do is that the soft system methodology involves a careful observation of problems and situations where we are currently in. We record the observations and see exactly what is or what went wrong. We gather the facts and the figures, as well as the opinions from everybody around the situation, including the stakeholders, in a qualitative manner. And the opinions of the stakeholders are particularly important in trying to figure out in understanding behavioral, defensive, and supportive messages. Okay. So the idea behind this is that whenever you look at a solution or an option, they're modeled around how they would change the rich picture format and the reaction from stakeholders. Okay. To see exactly what we could do. So, under the soft system methodology, what we're seeing and understanding a little bit more is that the soft system methodology is a learning cycle of different methodologies that we can adopt to in identifying a problem that we're dealing with, either a problem that is hurting our company, a problem that may be in the future, or a problem that you just want to fix. It's a problem. Okay. So we expose the problem and we say to ourselves, well, if we do not do anything right now, we lose money. If we do not do anything in the future, we may be jeopardizing our customers. Or if we want to do something that helps our customers, we just do it voluntarily. Okay. We use something called a rich picture format. And from different stakeholder perspective, we start to understand and gaze a little bit more on figuring out what the problem might be, identifying any relevant systems, and developing a root definition through what we call the CATWO approach and the root definition. And then from the real world scenarios, we start to build a conceptual model of the root definition. We compare the models with the real world situations, identify practical and desirable changes, and then take some action to improve the situation. Okay. So we look at some options, we look at some ideas, and then we sort it out. Okay. So when you look at this very simple situation that we're all in, since we use, of course, Zoom and Zoom needs the internet, when you look at high speed internet, we ask ourselves, what's the problem and how to deal with the problem altogether? Who exactly is affected, say, by a network downage? What is the current approach that we deal with when there is a network outage? What possible options will be there for ourselves and our customers? How do options fit into the real world scenarios? And what kind of practical changes could be implemented and how it could be implemented so that we figure out again and again and again how to make the system much better and much faster. Okay. So this is a very basic approach on dealing from a outside inside perspective on what we can do better to deal with network outages in the internet. Okay. However, we can be also practicing on it. We can study it and do some investments within our company to make sure that this doesn't happen. Okay. And many companies did that. Many companies went ahead, they did some approaches, and they want to make sure that whatever they do, they want to do it concrete. They want to do it on the ball, and they want to make sure that they can do it correctly. Okay. So the challenges are there. The challenges is that when you look at some particular areas, it's not static. Okay, it's not turbulent. There will be challenges in figuring out the right outcome because again, you have different options. All options are good, or sometimes it's not the best options, but you have to pick one. And sometimes you have different divergent views on how you come to the issue. You define the problems thereof, and then find different perceptions of how the answer, how the problem might come back and become a reality for you. Okay. So that's the idea of our class. So the idea of our class says to us that, by using a soft system methodology, we can definitely develop a simple way to find different challenges and divert them, especially from figuring out how we got to this scenario. So historically wise, the way that we start to develop, this whole idea of the soft system methodology, it came about 50 years ago from an individual called Peter Checkland. Peter Checkland published in 1972 what he termed as a journal of systems engineer. And a system engineer worked towards a system-based methodology for real-world problem-solving techniques. So the practical research based at his university, which was in England, Lancaster University, um, Mr. Peter Checkland worked at Bell Telephone Laboratories, and Bell examined case histories from their own previous technical development. And from there, they look at the generalization and procedures for making these developments happen and successful. That's the whole idea of where Peter Checkland is. So the background says that when you attempt to apply the soft system methodology into engineering and look at engineering to try to approach management problems from different situations, you can come up with different scenarios. Okay. System engineering is not able to deal with the complex and confusing manner of managing situations. And system engineering involves a clear objective to define a need and then the engine system to meet the need using various techniques like building a car, figuring out what we want to put in the car. And of course, in management situations, the objective may not be clear, but defining what the problem and the objection is very important. So the richness of management problems and a situation is the human component of it. Okay. How will people react to it? What will people do? And the problematic situations that arise from the flux of changing events, changing ideas, and how it all begins in real-time situations and how it affects us and the rewards or consequences that we will be doing when we will implement these items together. So to understand self-system methodology better, we have to deal with different complex situations that are very hard and turbulent to understand. These turbulence are divergent views about the definition of the problem. And a lot of times, by identifying the problem to be addressed, it's not always easy to agree upon when intervening as they are non statistic and perceived differently. Okay. So, the soft system methodology is an integrative approach device that will enable a debate amongst the concerned parties. And a lot of times within a soft system methodology, it's developed in new ways of thinking about the complexity of the situation in real world solutions. So you're trying to apply what could happen, but you don't really know how it's going to look like. So the problematic situation will have two characteristics. One, you'll have different worldviews because everybody's worldview will be different. The customer's worldview will be different from yours. You will be different from your vendor from your supplier, your stakeholder, your community. They're all going to be different. Okay. So it will contain people who are trying to act purposefully with the intention or the instinct to make change. And then it will come down to a problem or a problematic situation. Now, a problem implies that there is a solution to fix and you want to eliminate it. But a problematic situation cannot solve the problem entirely, but through intervention, you could improve the desired state. So the idea here is that you want to figure out a solution to your problem. Whether it's a problem that if you don't do it right now, it could harm your company, or if you don't do it in a year from now, it could really impact your relationship with the customer, or you want to do something that will surprise the customer, that will say to the customer, you know what? You actually care about me. You actually know what I need, and you're here to help me. So, under the theory of self-system methodology, the system runs around managing science. Basically, what I was telling you about in my undergrad, I was doing a science, management science bachelor, and the idea here is that we're trying to understand and analyze the idea behind all the reasoning on making choices in a company. So the process that we're using is intervening in a reality, real world, sensible manner. And in a real world situation, we try to bring about ways that we can improve on some of the ideas and some of the theories that Peter Checkland and Peter Poulter have mentioned about their book, okay, The Nation of Social Reality, which I believe is available for you guys. So different approaches to tackling real world problem situations is that system engineering and operation research. A lot of times companies like Rand Corporation, they analyze the items and they look at different analysis to make sure that these analysis are going to be correct. So a major issue of the above approach is that they are not rich enough and they do not encompass the complexity of human situations. Some situations are hard, some situations are soft, and we focus mostly on the soft system methodology. And the way that we figure things out is that we want a richer, keyword richer, and broader language required to make sense of a soft system methodology. So to do so, the way we see it is that we have a engineering approach, okay, system engineering approach, where in the system engineer approach, we're seeking objectives to increase an occupy rate of 5% in, say, the coming quarter. We want to introduce, for example, a new product that hopefully will give us results. We want to create and sustain new relationships about our organization and the market. All of these together are sustainable relationships that foster a stronger communication method with clients to better understand their needs. That's the whole idea behind a soft system methodology. So from a system engineering approach to soft system engineering and the soft system methodology, we move from positive approach to utilitarianism, which is the hard approach, and through the epistemology and sociology of the soft approach. Okay, so the idea here in our class is that when you look at positivism, okay, rules based on approaches, the rules on how to conduct business, and using utilitarian functions, okay, of the oriented approach, you come up to the epistemology approach that's concerned with why people think the way they think, why people do what they do, how knowledge is derived, and from the philosophical and traditional ideas and inquiries through critical debate and discussion. So you look at sociology, you look at how to act intentionally, non intentionally. And the idea here is through strategic management, you can do something better. So when you look at global management, the way that you guys are doing it, you increase things like market share. So your goal for a company is you want to increase the market share of your product. You want to be able to exacerbate economies of scale. You want to increase opportunities for learning. You want to have a larger tool to draw resources, opportunities to create partnership, advance of opportunities and management, and all these things together, their approaches to doing something better for the company. Okay. But we are learning global management. And in global management, there comes risks. Okay. So the risk might mean that many companies point to these many risks and many of these factors that could impact foreign investment. Okay. So, for example, unstable governments, okay, governments that might not be always the best, inadequate trained workers, low level of supporting technology that we don't have enough technology in our company, shortage of supplies, weak transportation system, and an unstable currency. All these things can play a big risk in the global environment, and especially when you create choices within your self-system methodology, it might be of a problem. Okay. So when you look at global trade and commerce, free trade and agreement about open corridors for commerce is very important when you look at long-term success of a global enterprise. Okay. So companies like the European Union, NAFTA, they all play an important role on free trade agreements. So when you look at a free trade agreement, sometimes you have to act really fast on it. Sometimes it's very important that you want to look at the long-term success of a company. And other times, you want to be able to look at capital markets. And within capital markets, you want to state the financial institutions and transactions of the intermediary critical investment confidence, and eventually be able to look at an advantage of spurring global competition and making sure that you can be educated, having a workforce that could be educated and training top talent, looking at discerning national consumers, pushing company level innovation, and making sure you can have high performance suppliers of a national company and having a competitive edge in your organization and in your industry. Many companies are also forced, unfortunately, to excel in a competitive environment. And a lot of times that's where soft system methodology comes in because you want to definitely make sure that when you look at the global market, you definitely want to help your consumers and you want to help everybody all together. So stakeholder management in a global environment is very important. The way we see stakeholder management is the challenges presented to us by differing values and ethics in a global business environment. So the diversity of the people, organizations, and governments that are involved with us, navigating cultural differences, which is a key success in the global strategy, and trying to mitigate and lower the risk of things like cultural intelligence, mitigated by, being able to interpret unfamiliar gestures and actions of outsiders, especially in, being successful in international business, having being culture adapted, meaning more important than do's than don'ts, looking at government relationships, making sure finding a foreign partner that can navigate government relationships that are important to international success. And other than that, you also want to look at strategic, tactical, and operational decision making to make sure that a lot of your decisions reflects on things like the nature of the problem. They reflect on information that's available to decision makers, hierarchical positions of the decision makers, and the risk scenarios in decision making processes that you can do. Okay. So a lot of times you do the day-to-day operations of making itineraries, making operations happen, and you understand that by looking at strategic, tactical, operational decision making, we're going to be learning this semester what we can do to negotiate and leverage our idea better and much, much thorough. Okay. So negotiation is going to be an important part of our class. There's going to be an assignment on negotiation, and the art of leveraging power, real and perceived, is very important. Looking at brokering deals through soft analytical approaches is also a critical past, and different simulations that help with strategic thinking, as well as thorough game applications, should be also been taken care of. We're going to look at different arrangement, including contractual arrangement when agreeing to negotiated terms. And hopefully, when we're going to be looking at soft system methodology throughout our semester, we're going to be looking at the global view, the world view, and looking at how we deal with stakeholders, looking at if it's feasible to actually do it, making sure that we can analyze different assessments and the culture factors. Okay. So in the beginning of our class, what we're going to be looking at mostly is looking at the soft system methodology, looking at our stakeholder management, looking at the feasibility assessments, looking at the environmental analysis, and eventually doing a culture factor to make sure that we can make a good decision and eventually a wholehearted decision that could help us into the future. Okay. All right. So as I promised, guys, I do not take much of your time, and as I mentioned, the class doesn't really finish very rarely does it finish at 6 o'clock. So we're currently done. The timer now is just about 5 o'clock. Does anyone have any further questions for me? Okay, no questions. All right. Okay, not a problem. So with that, ooh, we got some fan mail. Fan mail coming from Mehaz. If you could please give an example of SSM for a risk like unstable government. So in self-system methodology, when you look at a unstable government, for example, a rouge regime or a a potential, company that possibly is trying to go into a new market. A lot of times, the way you can actually assess it is by seeing exactly what kind of scenarios you're dealing with. Okay. So the first thing that many individuals would like to see, of course, is what kind of scenarios do we have to deal with? Okay, so when you look at a unstable government, okay, an unstable government might mean that you may be dealing with a government that today might be friendly with you, tomorrow might be hostile. Okay. And when you're dealing with international business, it does play an important role for you because your money, your investments in that country might be taken away. Okay. So when that happens, what happens here is that there could be a lot of issues that will arise. Okay. And some of the issues that could arise is that, today you have a branch in that country. Tomorrow, you may not. Okay. So that's kind of like, puts you in a scenario where you may not have stability. So the question now is that, do you have to change something as soon as possible? Okay, could be an issue. Okay. Do you have to change something, later on? Possibly. Okay. And can you be able to mitigate it or before something happens? Okay. So when you look at a risk of a government, you want to put them together and assume, well, if tomorrow something really bad happens, how do we deal with it? Versus, if something happens in a few months from now, politically wise, can we be able to take out the money? Or even better, what happens if we voluntarily want to make some changes and do something that goes, against the company norm that we want to be able to be proactive. Okay, so you take these scenarios, you build some ideas on it, you write down the rich picture format, put it all together, and then submit it to your bosses. And that's basically how you give an example of a self-system methodology risk for unstable governments. No problem. Does anyone have any further questions? One second. One, four unstable governments. I really like that question. That was very interesting. Any further questions? Nope. All right. If nobody has any further question, guys, welcome to our winter 2024 semester. I hope you will enjoy it. I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate everything that you're bringing to the class. I hope you enjoy the class, and I'm looking forward to having you here. Take care, take it easy, and I'll see you guys here hopefully next week. Bye for now. You too. Thank you so much. Have yourself a good one and take it easy.